Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to a special Mecha Break episode of Downtime in the Hangar. Today, I'm joined by Vion,
Hey, what's up?
Jay Frost,
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
and Aoshisan.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
So, if you want to kind of go around and let everybody know what you do, what you guys got going on, stuff like that before we get started. Vion, you want to go first?
No, I'm just kidding. Hi. I'm just chilling, doing the thing. What have I got going on? I don't even know what I've going. Life, man. Life is going on, and it's wild out here. Aside from that, you can catch me on the side of YouTube verse, videos, streams, all that kind of fun shenanigans. So stop on by and say what's up.
Frost, you want to go next?
Yeah, I can. What's up, y'all? Jay Frost. We do the Gundam stuff and other mech things. Debating doing Still Hunters, but we'll see what happens there. Same as Vion, just doing the YouTube thing right now. We may go back to Twitch one day, but we'll see if that happens. Also, currently addicted to Monster Hunter and Schedule One. That's all we'll say there.
Aoshi?
Okay, so that's a very hard intro, promo thing to kind of stand up to because two legendary people just kind of stepped into the room and now I'm on the spot. But as my name has been put out there, I also do stream on Twitch and do YouTube videos. I am primarily I guess you could say technically primarily a Gundam content creator, but I do dabble in other games right now. I'm jumping into Armor Reforger. I also too am in Monster Hunter Wilds right now, which has been pretty addicting. But we're here for the very one sole reason that brings us all together. It's called Mecha Break, and can't wait to talk with you guys. Break it down.
Yeah,
Well
so
done.
let's go ahead and start, I guess, gameplay and stuff like that. What is everybody's favorite mech so far?
Aleseness.
If you watch me play it at all, it's Welkin. Panaka's a close second, but it's Welkin.
I have to be a Hurricane Inferno Skyreader boy.
Stego Tricera here, but it's just
Considering the videos, yeah, I can attest to that. I mean, instant lock in.
Mhm.
But I mean, the nice thing about that is you guys have like such an innate knowledge and like hands on with those suits that it's kind of like I don't see like anybody else. Like if we were got paired into like a random group, like I don't see anybody else like doing it better.
But you
In
also gotta
that
look at
sense. Mm-hmm.
you look at sometimes though when we like the last time we all played, um was it Sky Raider? Falcon was insta locked. Tricera is almost always insta locked. So it's like you want to think of a suit that someone's not gonna already kind of mess with.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a Panther, I'd probably do Panther, but we'll talk about that later. We can talk about this.
Oh yeah, I definitely got a lot to say in that regards too. But yeah, it's kind of funny because like yeah, that's probably like a weird part is like it's a mech game, right? And I kind of instantly draw it to conclusion wise, it's basically a mech game tied into a hero shooter because you have very unique well, I'm trying to resist calling them mobile suits, but you have unique strikers essentially with different roles, different strengths, obviously different weaknesses, very unique personalities in terms of how they engage in the battlefield. So it's like you guys make good points on that in that side of the thing. And I would say probably the biggest gripe going right into that is the fact that with my experience with the most recent open beta is there's a limiting roster right now in that sense.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
well, I would say in that regard too, like there's luckily unique play styles with what they have in. Again, some of the stuff like Falcon definitely feels completely different than even like another flying suit like Sky Raider. But
Correct.
I do like that they have different play styles, but at the same time, if you like one or two suits, then and again I just call them suits instead of mechs. Oops. But
Yeah, it's strikers. Yeah, strikers.
strikers, yeah. But pretty much if you just like one or two, you're competing with a lot of people for those one or two if you know you're playing the popular play style. And again with like the stego, it's like especially you know in like once you get to the grandmaster queues where it's just waiting way too much time, and then
Hmm.
above that it was just like yeah, I have to click everything else. Oh, do I want a game quickly? Probably play the Lumine, you know, and have that in my roster of selections. And yeah, as far as the limiting factor with that, I'm really curious. Which again, this not to get too far ahead with the monetization part and unlocking suits, but I'm really curious when it actually releases, what happens with that because, I mean, just having one or two, maybe three, that's it's gonna be
I
really
gotcha.
awkward finding a game.
Absolutely. I want to add to that, not to like overbear or anything, but like the thing that kind of grabs at me is that because it's a hero shooter, you kind of want to go with what the team needs, right? So if you're fighting for like all the prime positions as far as the strikers go, and you're left with something that you're not really good at, you're kind of bringing down your team as a whole as well. Especially if you're trying to, I would say, expand your portfolio of strikers that you're trying to be, what's I wouldn't say competent, but like,
Efficient
what's
with.
the proficiently with, good with, right? You're not extra perfect, but you're not terrible with it. You want to be able to you know still pass with flying colors and be able to keep up with your team with whatever the other team happens to throw at you. You might struggle a bit, obviously, but that's kind of the name of the game, especially with a lot of these PvP games. So when you have a living roster like that, that kind of almost feels like it's kind of going against the grain of that sort of mindset of that sort of team play that they're trying to essentially cultivate. We already saw that with the esports segment that they had alongside of the open beta. I think it was like 3-4 days, if you guys want to correct me on that. And in that sense, it works really well because those are pre-made groups. But when you're in the matchmaking sense of things, it doesn't necessarily play out that way as well. So
Mm.
I'm concerned. I wouldn't say I'm concerned necessarily that, because that makes it sound like it's a bad thing, but I'm very curious to see how they're going to tackle that type of issue. Because again, I would say probably the biggest thing, like you guys kind of touched on, is them releasing more strikers. How they're going to do that, what type of timetable that's going to be, it's definitely kind of up in the air. They really haven't mentioned, other than I think what, 2 extra strikers officially are coming out. Correct me if I'm wrong,
The
but
Panaka and
the variants,
Sturgo were
sorry.
they
Yeah.
were the ones that were
Hmm.
Oh,
the last officially announced one.
Hmm.
Narakumi and Falcon variants they'd announced.
Yeah.
Okay.
To that point, Alcy was really good. I feel like it's a double-edged sword because, like you said, what's going to happen? Say day one, I want to play Falcon, right? I jump into
Hmm.
the game and I can't pick Falcon because I have that and allegiance unlocked, right? So
Hmm.
at what point I don't know if the game like auto judges or senses like, hey, look, you don't have any of these 2 or 3. You're going to
Hmm.
guarantee to get this pick, but I feel like half the player base would, at that point, they'll learn another suit out of frustration or out of just like, man, I want to play this suit, but I guess I'll try this one. And they might like that suit or they might not like that suit. So when they try that striker that they didn't want to play, it can also be a point where players be like, you know what? I've tried 3-4 matches, couldn't play the striker I want. I don't think I'm gonna play again today. I might try again tomorrow. And so that's a
Hmm.
huge risk for having people, peel off the game a lot sooner than anticipated.
I wanted to interject in that and kind of add on to what you were saying too on in that regards, because one of the things that I noticed that was a requirement is in order to do custom rooms, right? Say you want to kind of practice with a buddy, you had to be level 15. Your pilot rank, or I think your achievement rank, however they're kind of gauging it. That's a big fat red flag for me. Considering that even when you have custom rooms, you're not getting any XP off of it as well, or any type of I don't know if you got achievements off of running custom rooms, but like that seems kind of almost counterintuitive, especially like say you want to learn on your own time, you don't want to play casual, you want to learn with a buddy and kind of, go through the motions without having to, sit in lobby, sit in queue, and maybe get a match or have to fight with somebody else in that regard. I don't know. I'm not. I feel like it's not fully fleshed out yet either, so it's hard for me to want to criticize it in that sense. But the idea of that function kind of being in the beta that we ran into, I thought that was pretty silly.
Yeah, well, I think that's something they can change easily.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But no, I get good points all around, dude. Good points all around.
So I do want to say though, I know what it sounds. We don't hate the game. These are I enjoy the game. Like
I freaking love it.
I want to play a lot more Mash Mac when we get time. I do. I'm wondering.
Is it time to break down Mash Mac?
No, I'm wondering what they're gonna do, like map wise, like, what other types of maps are we gonna get? Are we gonna get other game types on the same style map? Like we have, Eye of Misra is always the one. Is it gonna have multiple game types, or is it just always gonna be that one game type? Because I would like to. I mean, I would like to do deathmatch
game modes.
Yeah, like on I can only think of Eye of Misra because that's the one we see all the time. But
or the harbor one.
Yeah, like see like deathmatch there, or see like escorts in those other maps. I get like Mash Mac has this one map.
I would almost say that's kind of sorry to I'm sorry for cutting you off there. I feel like that's kind of like map design itself, because like if you look at the map layout, we'll use Eye of Misra as your first example, right? The way it's laid out, you could almost do a TDM match on that. You can almost do, well, you would have to expand Eye of Misra if you wanted to do like that escort mission, because it doesn't feel like it's big enough. But then if it is, you have to redesign the map to kind of make those lanes too. And that's kind of like the biggest thing. One of the criticisms I do have for it is, okay, there's different modes that we have, but they're on the same map. You want to play TDM? It's on that same city map. That, I mean, the action's cool, but after a while, it gets stale, and then I get fatigued. And like Vion says, I just don't feel like playing today. I'll come back later, type of thing. So
yeah,
like,
I had to look up the maps really quick just to make sure. So Palm Bay Harbor is the escort one,
right?
And like the observatory, Cape Blanc Observatory, I'm like, that could be an escort. It is big to me. It feels big enough to be an escort.
And that's that's the one where you have to destroy the mine dismantles, right?
Yeah.
So the way that one's laid out, I feel like you're absolutely right in the sense that it could be set up that way. There's kind of a lack of cover when you compare it to like the routes that the harbor map has for the actual payload itself. So like in terms of like, you have open areas, but then you have narrow areas, funnel areas where you can funnel the enemy team or vice versa.
That one would also be good for domination. Just I'm saying for that one as a domination, because you have, even though it's super open, that would be your sniper's dream map right there. Like,
I don't even want to start with prob
oh my god, it'd be a fantastic like sniper's dream there, because you have I'm looking at the map, I'm like, you can have 3 points just super spread out, and then you have a hurricane or a Murakami, just kind of getting optimal spot and just shooting. So whereas like Was it
I agree.
Crab
No, I agree.
Sinkhole right now?
Yeah, Crab Sinkhole. I have
Yeah,
PTSD
you
of that map
have
because of that
we
behind the wind
we
session that we had.
everybody fights on A until the other points
Mhm.
pop up. But like you can
Right.
just spread them out in a good, like you can have a good spread of those points.
Mhm.
And there's very, I mean, you have the buildings, but there's very little cover there. So you're actually gonna have to fight for those points. I'm not saying you're not fighting in Crab Sinkhole, but it feels like you really only fight for 2 points. And then
Would
if
you say that it basically, in short, like the map's underutilized?
for that one, yes.
Okay.
I think there's
I
a
kind of figured
little
you're
I
kind of
think there's
leaning
a
towards that,
little
but mhm.
little too much cover.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I don't hate that there's cover. I think there's a little too much because I mean, just think of matches that we've had there. We fight
Mhm.
for A and we fight for B or C. You leave the other
Yeah.
one alone. You're like, we got 2, we're good, unless you're like, just destroying the other team.
I
But
was gonna
you
say you
really
wouldn't know. Oh, good. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the ironic thing to add on top of that is you know there's that not underground, but that lower platform section that's up below A. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
used at all. It's
yeah.
just there.
Oh yeah,
But it's like
I do go hide
you
there
put it
sometimes, but
Yeah.
you put that on another map where it's I'm not saying the terrain is flat. It's not flat. It's got
Mhm.
some elevation to it, but it's open. So you're using the buildings that are there, you're using the mountains, you're using like the stuff that's there to stay away. Whereas in Crab Sinkhole, you get in, let's say you get in C, and you're like, there's 3 ways in the sea.
Mhm.
You could cover all 3 ways in the sea. But if you're in the super open map, it's like the Falcon's just gonna fly in from anywhere with a Sky Raider. Like that will change the suits that you're gonna use.
Mhm.
And I think that was because I talked with Vion one time. I'm like, I like that they tell you the game mode, but I wish they didn't tell you the game mode before you got in it.
Yeah.
I wish they showed you the map, but there were different objectives on every like maps. So it's like you didn't pick your suit based on what the objective was. I get it, but I'm like, I want the randomness and the go, oh man, this suit does like the one time we played Mashmack and I picked Panaka and I was like, this is a terrible idea. This was bad.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like I want that.
So would
I
you
kind of
almost?
like the map.
Oh, God, sorry.
I like the map kind of being shown personally, just because. I mean, this is one of the problems I have from other mech games like that we've played with, like GBO2, for instance. Kind of, I mean, this might be a little support bias, but just getting attacked by the raid at that point, I'm like, oh, I wish I knew I was going against that thing. I'm completely messed up. Whoops. So in that sense, knowing the map kind of lets me know what I'm going to have to deal with probably. And in some cases, like if it is going to be a Falcon, sometimes that's an okay thing depending on the map with let's say the Stego, and then sometimes that's an annoying thing. For
So here's
instance,
something I want to interject really quick. In addition to what you're talking about, right? So you're talking about having maps kind of shown. There's kind of, I guess, an opinion to have it kind of randomized, right? But how do you think they're gonna change like the playlists of how they do like ranked, unranked, and ranked and casual in the sense because the way we had it in open beta, we had the operations for the 5 maps and it was all randomized, right? We didn't even know what map it would be, what game mode it's going to be, and then it's the same thing for the casual play. Do you think it would be to their benefit to kind of not overly split it, but like make it so that there's a kind of to make a GBO2 interjection, like maybe 2 or 3 different options as far as a playlist and game modes. That's on the assumption that they adjust the maps for different modes outside of what we saw in open beta. Like the one mode stuck to the one map, but instead they have 2 or 3 different possible game modes on that one map because it's designed well.
I'd say for the well, actually they're probably going to stick to more of like the Overwatch, like
Right.
Rivals style matchmaking as far as how it goes. But one thing that actually, Frost, I'm curious what you think on this. Would it be like with League? They just put out a very quick play mode where you just kind of pick two things and then boom, you're just in, and the whole game's faster or whatever. But the thing is, everything's kind of random. You don't know what you're going against. It's a blind pick essentially. Um, so it would you like on a casual blind pick mode if they had that, and then on the ranked mode, um, they actually have more kind of what I was wanting, where it's like all the way to the point of like what they did in the tournament, where there's actually bans, and then you put your team together.
Sound weird. I would like the ban. I really like when, because I could see certain suits getting banned a lot. I could see Tricera getting banned, like Tricera or Stego getting banned like every match. I could see it.
I know.
Uh,
I feel that pain.
I could see Welkin getting banned. I can see.
Well, right now
Um,
Inferno though, Inferno is the most banned in
I
the
get. Oh
tournament,
wow.
and I mean for
Yeah,
good reason.
I
but
mean, playing open beta was pretty much banned outside of like the computers running it. I'm like, great. Oh, it's
I
an Infernal. All right.
I would like see. I would like that. I would like the like. I would like if you pick the suit and or you get a question mark on like the game type and you pick a suit. I would like the and unfortunately I'll say it like GBO does it where they do the situations and you don't know what suit you're getting, but they tell you the map. I like that. That's my favorite thing is like when they're like, here's the map, but we're just gonna give you a
Oh,
random suit. I have to adjust.
oh, you mean like the situation battle
Yes,
scenarios?
I love
Okay.
that.
So
I
See,
would love for
honestly,
Mecha
that could
Break to
work
do
if they
that.
actually have the lore ready for Mecha Break. I think that something like that function
I
would be really cool for the
I
people that want
think
to get invested into this new IP.
I definitely think that could be viable, but it goes back to the problem of having only a limited amount of strikers at launch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
I play, games competitively as well. Like, I play League a lot because I hate myself. But, that has that has so many characters. You can ban someone. You like, oh, I have the X, Y, and Z. I can play mid or jungle, whatever. But Mecha Break, it'll be more like, oh, I got this tank. Oh, they banned Hurricane. Someone already picked Inferno. So like in the future, I could totally see that working out unless it was one like a team votes for a ban for one suit and each team bans only one striker per match in the competitive scene. That I could see possibly working, but I feel like I honestly would like for them to have like maybe 6 to 8 more strikers on launch. I know it's a pipe dream, whatever, but that would make the selection a little bit easier going for me, in my opinion. Because going back to all the map talk, like I
Right.
understand, especially, I think the draw of each map being its own mode kind of allows them to make a map extremely unique to the particular purpose. For example, the shipyards or whatever it's called now. I feel as if while we could, readjust that for another mode, I think it really fits its purpose. So I like instead of them trying to repurpose that map for a different style, I would rather have them to put the work in to give us a brand new map with a brand new different objective, because knowing what map I'm on, after you play for like just a couple of times, you go, oh, it's this map. Oh, okay, I can pick this because I can, fly around with Sky Raider or Falcon and harass some of the big bodies who are just chilling down there, or knowing I'm in a small area like the sinkhole. While you can still play Sky Raider and Falcon, you have to switch up your style a little bit. So I definitely like that some strikers do shine on other um, stages more. I think that's kind of the allure to being able to run a striker. But I also see that that goes into a whole nother thing about balancing when you're talking about, the striker showing off on this map and that map. I personally, I don't think I mind the whole maps being, just one mode, but I would prefer, if that is the case going forward, that we would get a plethora of more maps and different unique modes and objectives. Because
agree.
in the day, that's what's going to keep people. Because if you have what 5-6 modes right now, you're going to play it, but after a while you can get burnt out, because there'll be times, even though there's like 5 different modes, you're probably only going to play 2 back to back. So unless there's any kind of voting in game or post match or anything like that, especially if you keep on that randomizer, it's going to suck when you have sinkhole 3 times. Then you have
Random is not random. It's GBO2 random.
saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Arctic base.
And-
It's Arctic
and-
base
and-
again.
Yeah. For those who are
how many
not
times I got
aware,
Harbor, I'm like, oh my god, here we go.
for those who are not aware, GBO2 is Gun About Operation 2, and we all have been playing the game for some time, so that's why we're making jokes on that. If you don't understand, drop in the comments and we'll laugh about it and we can talk about it more. But yes, essentially, I think something should probably be revisited, or we should have more transparency on how that stage is selected, or the likelihood.
6 Panthers on a team. Let's go.
Yeah. So, oh gosh,
That's a that's a special event right there.
Oh yeah, let's go, dude.
That's a special event.
But also,
Vion knows
even
what I'm getting at, and he's already like giving me the evil eye.
you can feel it from here.
Yep, exactly.
Well, okay, so I know that there's, because I know like we got to the maps and all, and I'm like, I feel like we're getting way ahead because we're getting to another thing that we can't talk about yet. But I also like that when they added the not custom weapons, like the modular weapons to suits.
For Mashmac.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about Mashmac if you want to go ahead and start. I mean, I guess that's technically more of like game systems, but I mean, at the same time, it's definitely a different
it's a new
game
feature
mode.
Because I think what's really neat about it is they didn't really announce that right off the bat until like at a certain point. It's like, what? We're adding an extraction shooter mode? Oh, okay. And I mean, like, to be fair, Mashmac's, I would say, pretty open enough to where like there's definitely unique places, but at the same time, like, it feels kind of, I don't know, because it's so open, it feels kind of empty too in certain places and underutilized. So like,
well, no, I was just meaning for like how the suits work.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, sorry.
And how like you can now choose like, okay, like I have Illumine,
right,
and he only really heals, but I'm like, nah, I can give this Illumine a sniper rifle.
I think the concept's really nice. I'm not 100% on board with how you're unlocking stuff on it, because I know a lot of the stuff that they had when we were running around in Mashmac, I think it ties into the battle pass in the sense of like getting the stuff out. So
that red currency or whatever it was.
No, that's only part of it. It's the technically you could say it's like the insurance of extraction shooters, which is part of that battle pass. Yeah. So basically, during open beta, we were testing that function, which I don't know if we'll actually have it on launch.
I'll say this before, because I want to keep it just going back more so what he was talking about. What I did like, I like the concept and the options, like y'all said, having it be, monetization thing, we can get there, but like seeing that in a game as standalone is actually really cool, knowing that usually you see these games and they don't have these functionalities where everyone can pick up this weapon or equip this weapon and do it. That's really cool. While it's only in Mashmac now, that could also be a game mode where a map where there's certain weapons that spawn and you can just pick them up and you can do the thing. You know what I'm saying? Almost like, OG Halo days when you have one sword spawn, or you have, just big team battle. And you can just pick these up, like things like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do like a gun game with that. That'd be funny as hell.
Right, that'll be really cool. Like things like that, I really, really like, and that kind of creativity is the stuff I want to see more of. Especially when people talk about like Marvel Rivals and Overwatch when they talk about hero
Mhm.
shooters, and this is in line similar to a hero shooter. And in those games, you have your power ups, your ultimates, your abilities, but there's not really a consistent mode where you can pick a different weapon up or drop a different weapon or have your healer become a freaking melee parry blocking monster or have your sniper transform into like a freaking dual wielding rocket launcher. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that's really cool. So there's a lot of tones and ideas they could actually take from that system, J Frost, and probably apply it to other places. But I do like that side of the creativity for it. So I will say
I was
that.
gonna say this is the first time they've actually implemented in there, right? I know they've been talking about before the drop before the open beta drop.
Yeah, that was
So
the first
How they're
time. That was
balancing
the
that.
first time that we got to
Mhm.
mess with it.
Yep,
I gotcha.
because they had teased and revealed in a video with like Panther and Elysians using alternate weapons. We're like, hold up, pause,
Wait a
what?
minute. Yeah.
So that was a pleasant surprise. But
Mhm.
yeah, sorry if I went off to the side there, but I just wanted to
No, I mean
throw
I've
that out
been
there.
doing that, so like it's good to
Yeah.
kind of rein it back in because like there's just so much stuff that we can like chat all day about when it comes to make or break. It's just
Also,
Yeah.
like go ahead,
yeah.
Magnum.
Well,
You're fine.
with Mash Mac 2 and just the combos, just one of the combos that I thought was really cool. And I mean, we can go ahead and get into some of the levels and the balancing of it too if we want to talk that as far as the gameplay stuff. But before balance felt like it went out the window, one of the really cool things that was like, whoa, that's powerful, but you could deal with it, was Lumine just comes out of nowhere with like two melee weapons, and I thought they were using them both till I actually tried it, and then you're better off doing a shield and just the sword that you could get. But
Hmm.
Lumine has its special mode turn on where it just has infinite boost. So first of all, you can get around
Are you
on
talking
that
about
map.
attack mode?
No, just the like
The buff
the
wings,
The
give 'em
red
infinite.
buff.
where they're red? Oh
No.
no, oh got
When
you, got you, yeah.
yeah, when it has infinite boost and you can just fly around the map and never run out of. Is it boost or
It's
energy?
probably
Energy,
boost.
energy. That's what it's
Yeah,
called, right? Yeah. So
it's
you
just
have
basically
infinite
boost.
energy through that. And melee weapons cost energy to use, so you have infinite melee. And you can fly around and stay on anybody while meleeing. And also, if you do the whole like melee attack, you go faster. And then if you boost while doing it, you go even faster. So you have infinite melee boost speed, travel across the map faster than a falcon can, while just holding down the melee on
That's
in
not
match
Lumine
mode.
anymore. That's Jehuti.
Yes.
That's a PS2 reference if anybody knows.
Yes.
If you played
Hmm.
Yeah.
versus,
If you know.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what is coming to my mind.
I
Yeah, that's
I will say
stupid.
that I will say that normally that ability has a cooldown, but again, I haven't played Lumine enough with those weapons to play around and have the shenanigans. So,
Yeah, you definitely have a
but
window, but
you know what?
Mhm.
It's kind of cool when you hear stuff like that. That sounds real bad, but I was just like, man, you ever tried this little loophole with this striker? I mean, of course they can patch stuff out, but like when I hear stuff like that, at first I'm like, man, that's kind of try hard. But at the same time, it's like that's actually pretty cool. People are getting clever ways around stuff. So, um, I mean, given we played in beta, things are always subject to change. But uh, I wanted to speak on that regarding like particular strikers, if that's okay. Unless we want to finish this full side
Well,
of
I
stuff
know
off.
people were going ham with snipers in Mash Mac too. There's
yeah,
no
one into the
height
snipers.
ceiling in that regard. At least that's what I've heard. Never saw it firsthand or tried it myself, but
Um,
You
yeah, that's
never
pretty
saw
cool.
it firsthand. You weren't there
Never
for
saw it
that.
firsthand,
You
but I
weren't
know
there for
people were
that
engaging
match.
outside of.
Oh no!
Well, I know people were
Oh,
engaging.
no.
What?
I thought you were in that match. Weren't you in
No,
that
for
match
Mash
with
Mac
us?
as a sniper.
No, the where it was me. I would swear it was me, you, and Vion, and
I think it
we were
was
going for
me,
the
you, and
boss.
Magnum.
Oh, we were going for the boss, and
Oh,
he went toward the boss, and I thought he got hit by one sniper, where he got hit by two. Were you
mhm.
not there?
I was there, but I mean, I didn't
Oh,
know it was that was happening exactly
oh,
because I
oh
know I
man.
was hearing other instances where they were engaging like way beyond the effective range of what you're supposed to be doing. Like that's what I was. I explained that to Vion. I was like, hey, so I'm hearing things about you can take like was it Murakami or I want to call it the C1. This it's the C1 of Mecha Break. I forgot the name already.
Is it
The
transform?
eagle, it means
Falcon?
eagle.
It's the heavy sniper.
I'm trying to remember the
Oh,
name.
Inferno.
Aquila?
Aquila,
No,
there
it's
we
not
go.
Inferno. Aquila.
Aquila, yeah.
So I'm hearing stories
Inferno.
of oh god, both of them engaging outside of like say 500 meters or whatever the in-game like measurement is. Like, and I'm thinking, well, you're getting damage drop off still probably, right? So I guess it might make sense. But I'm like, man, if you're still hitting at a certain like fixed rate, that's pretty damn annoying.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like, you know, like with most games, what'll happen is if you're outside of that range, is either you're getting damage drop off where you're doing like a lot less, or it just completely cuts off and it's just a light show.
Well,
And I'm like,
that
dang.
brings up something we can actually go into as well. One other thing with the combos too, uh, that I wanted to say before I bring up the parts thing is where I'm going with this. Um, is like with the Lumine, for instance, that combo is actually kind of balanced, right? You can turn on your heal mode, but when everything runs out, you're a sitting duck at that point. But it's kind of cool
Yeah.
that you have a healer that can actually do some damage, so that you can actually farm
Mhm.
things. Is kind of the main thing I really like about that. You're not really waiting, because even
Yeah.
the little things. Yes, in the normal game mode, you can actually finish people off and actually have some effective damage that carries over. But in like Mash Mag, for instance, there's so much extra healing and stuff. If you don't actually have something that just like takes an enemy out, or like you go in with melee, there's not really much you can really do to actually, be extra effective. And that one I would say is more balanced. Now, when we start adding parts into the mix with like the Aquila and stuff, and then we talk, upgrading to tier 6 weapons, and the autocannons, or even the snipers, or the big thing that would shoot and then it explodes at the end, whatever that beam thing was that you can only have in the left arm, I think. But then you could also have a howitzer on the right, whichever. It's only on one arm is all it's allowed to be. And you know, I we again we could talk about this in balance too with health and what we think should get nerfed here at some point. But like a stego, I almost 4 or 6 shot that with the level 1 stuff. So like, and stego's pretty beefy. So like, it's
Yeah, it is.
part balance. Like that's probably one of the things
I
that's
feel like they're
happening
still
there.
working things out with that, honestly. Like
I
Yeah,
think they
obviously
are.
it feels like yeah, there's supposed to be like a benefit and a disadvantage with running those, right? And
yeah,
that kind of tailors to your own personal playstyle, and there's going to be like all sorts of different things out there in the field once this game comes to to launch and everything. But at the same time, it's like I think yeah, they're just kind of trying to figure out the direction they want to do with that. At the same time, it's like I think they're still trying to work out the values of those different parts too. So it's hard to say
Well,
like for
that
me,
and
it's like I think it's neat, but it's just like I don't know what exactly to think about it yet, other than it's neat, but I don't know if it's really helping me in some cases with some of the suits. But at the same time, it's like I don't have the near playtime that like all three of you guys have, so it's just kind of it's just I'm a little uh uninformed, I would say. But go ahead,
well, it's
sorry.
on the parts is there's because there's so many things that the parts affect.
Mm,
It's really hard to be like, oh, these are like this is a part I'm looking for, because you have some that attack like they affect your energy regen, or they affect like airspeed, or what is it, rebalance. And I'm like, there's some of these stats that I'm like, okay, why? Like, I get why I need to be faster on a rebalance, like after I shoot a weapon or after I land or whatever.
mhm.
But now we're going into mods or parts that it's just like you're affecting so many things, and then it's disadvantage of so many things. Where it's like I think it needs to be a little bit more simplified.
Yeah, you think
But
it's a
it's like,
little complicated because I think that's what I'm getting overwhelmed with. Is like
yeah,
it
there's
becomes so
this
technical.
because I mean, and it's it sucks to say it this way because I compare their mod parts, and I'm really sorry. I compare like how they do mods to Armor
Mhm.
Core.
Oh,
That's how I looked at it, and I
Yeah,
was like,
same.
Armor Core. Like I love Armor Core. I love that everything, there's a cost to everything, but I'm like, this is almost like Armor Core single player, and that, and the single player thing that
hmm
you're dealing with just the game, but you're now dealing with other people who are doing the same thing. That's so many variables.
yeah.
And when you're taking parts into consideration, like what you want to mess with, what you want to do. And I think that system just needs to be a little bit more simplified. Um, I wish I had the picture in front of me. Like I took a picture one time and I was like, all these stats. And I'm like, I feel like more than half of everyone who plays this game doesn't care. The stats are
I was
cool and
actually doing.
all,
Mhm.
but that's like, I really think if it was a little more simplified and it was maybe, I don't know how many stats, but a little bit more simplified, people would probably
Mhm.
engage the mods a little bit more.
Yeah, I know people were asking for a mode without mods too. So I think that's kind of ties into what you're saying already. It's like it's so complex. It's like nah,
I
I'm just not
think
going to mess with this as
I
well.
think the competitive mode will disable mods, or is it
Correct,
rated
correct.
or
Yeah,
That's
apparently
what I
whatever?
heard
they're
as well.
ranked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The
no,
other,
I definitely agree with what Frost said because when I went in, I was going. I think I was trying to fine tune Eliseness a little bit, and I'm like, okay, that thing has like no ballistic defense or it's very low. So I'm like, I'm trying to pull a GBO2 with it, and I'm like, okay, so I have this, but I lose out on this. I have this, but I lose out on that. I'm like, okay, on paper, I seem like I'm getting an increase, but at the same time, I'm playing this, and I don't know if it really makes a difference or not, or it's like placebo, right? And it's just like,
well, and two,
oh. Go ahead, sorry.
they upgrade to legendary parts is one of the big things. So
hmm
legendary parts have a lot bigger numbers, and then there's probably a variable roll on those numbers. And
I feel
then as
like they
far as
need a tutorial
re-rolling
for that
them,
too.
yeah, and also too, some of the things that you can do. For instance, one of the things that Vion and I saw was he was flying around, I think, in the Sky Raider in Mashmac, and an Aquila was able just to be like, "Yeah, I'll just stay up here at the top of the map, and I'll keep up with you." Like they were just had infinite boost at the top of the map, following him. I mean, he was just like gunning it, just trying to get away, and there was you could tell because they had like maximum upgraded every part and whatnot, but B, it was like they've probably been playing Matchmack a ton. They have probably all legendary parts, and they're just some of those numbers. I'd like to see some screenshots of those numbers and just see how ridiculous they did get. Because another thing, like the rebalance when you land, like force land and stuff. Like I'm
hmm
curious to see how fast people could actually travel with legendary parts, just landing, boosting through a canyon, and then doing whatever, just because they have a full list of legendaries on their entire thing. And as far as the balance goes, not to touch on the monetization part of it, but that takes a lot of time to get those, and that's a
Yeah.
lot of
hmm
currency. And
Mhm.
in this game mode, we had the boxes for the model kit that they were uh, doing a giveaway for, and you actually had what I'm assuming is the real money currency, and people were just farming that like crazy, just stacking up so much currency, and then able to spend it on parts and upgrade so many parts to legendary. People that were no lifing it were incredibly strong compared to
hmm
people that weren't. And that's going to be another thing too. If these numbers are too high, which I do kind of like a lot of the complicated stuff. I mean, I played stuff like PoE and things like that. So when I open like the skill tree and that, I'm like, yeah, let's go. And I will say a lot of those numbers, some of them, especially with the purple parts, they were just like, okay, well, this is like point 0.2. What does this actually calculate to? Oh, it literally saves me
Yeah.
0.0001 second on, for instance, like the
Yeah.
rebalance time. And I'm like, well, this does
Yeah,
nothing.
and that's what I'm saying too. Is it's like, yeah, it makes sense numbers wise. Like, okay, there's a jump or whatever, right? But it's just like when you're actually running it, it's like, does it actually, like, I can't feel it yet.
Yeah.
And like, I think I had a few, I think either blues and purples from running Matchback from the time I ran it, and then it's just like, I don't feel it. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I suck with the striker too on top of that, and maybe it's, you know, obviously strikers will perform different against like in PvP or situations versus like say the AI that we were running into, but at the same time it's like I don't know what I'm looking for, you know, other than hey, it's making me turn a little bit faster, or hey, my boost is recovering faster. But I'm like, do I really feel the actual boost recovery? Because like the values are either conservative or they're too far ahead, like you're saying with like say legendary parts, and it's just like I don't have a point of reference to kind of yeah. So it's
Yeah,
just like I feel like they need to reel it in a little bit.
it requires you to do a whole lot of testing,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
lot of
Yes.
testing. Like a lot of testing. And everyone in this group, we all know we're no strangers to testing things or having other people's in the community test stuff. But I mean, you know, man, am I right?
I mean, look, the only suit that I'd put mods on was Welkin. That's
I
the suit I have the most
actually,
time on,
I
and
actually didn't put a lot of stuff on any of my suits.
yeah, Welkin was the only one I put a lot into. I put a lot into. It was melee rebalance, um, energy, energy regen, and ground boost because base Welkin it's not the fastest on the ground, but a lot of your when you're attacking, you're doing your melee attacks, and then you have to drop because you run out of energy so fast.
Yep.
I was like, okay, let's see what that stuff does. And like you're saying, there's it's hard to tell a difference. It is very hard to tell a difference. Um, I felt a little bit of a difference in it. Especially because like we did one of the mash max. Remember, I don't remember if you remember. I was like, I'm trying to catch up to you. I'm still on this ground. I'm trying so hard though. That was like after that, I put like a whole bunch of boosts. Like I did boost on whatever the auxiliary was or whichever option it was. I put some boost up there, and I was like, it feels a little faster, but I think they were purples. I was like, for what I'm putting into them, it doesn't feel like it's a lot.
I felt that way when I was running Tricera when we were doing Mash Max. And I was like, man,
I was
these
gonna
guys are
say
speeding off.
me and
I'm just
every
like
Mash Max, Stego and Tricera.
I'm just like, God damn. I need some nitrous. Can I get some like 4 tanks of nitrous on here? Some space boosters or something?
So like
SFS. Yeah, I'm just like, damn, this thing's slow.
Well, then I guess too. What do you guys think about the glider then? To kind of talk more about the Mash Max gameplay.
I didn't get enough time to play
the,
it.
the glider, like the glider and essence stuff, is actually pretty cool. I think the glider stuff is really cool. I think it's when we start talking to how to upgrade and manage the gliders where we probably have some agreements and differences in regards to that. But I liked it because there's been times where I'm Sky Raider, and I have a Falcon on my team, and then we have like a Welkin, or then we have like a Hurricane or someone super heavy, and they can't keep up with our mobility because we have the ability to transform. Okay, if he doesn't have a glider, I could call my glider in to let them use that. That way, I feel as if you don't feel as if you're late to the fight,
Yep.
or you're just late to the objective. Because like any sort of mode, like extraction wise, especially like in Mashback, the place is massive, right? Like being able to just fly and over a mountain is so convenient, opposed to burning your energy, your boost, whatever, to boost up, boost up, boost up, boost dash, boost dash,
It's
boost dash,
okay,
stop,
Vion. We're playing
stop,
Skyrim.
boost dash. You know what I'm saying? Like exactly. It's like you're practically
Yeah.
Skyrimming at this point. But like
Mm-hmm.
on a management system, I was like,
Yep.
this is the worst, because then someone will be like, oh, two on me, two on me. I was like, I'm panicking, I'm not in the fight, I'm not in the fight. And so you get there and your teammate is either dead, they have to pull out, or
We
like you
had
lost
that
an objective.
instance too.
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, when the boss
The
spawns,
no,
it
go ahead. Sorry.
when the boss spawns and you're like, okay, guys, let's go to the other side of the map. Me and the Stego, I'm like, okay, you guys, yeah, you're
Yeah.
flying over the mountains and going around the middle. I'm going straight through that. I'm going on the road. I'm following the road. I'll see you guys over there in 10 minutes.
5 minutes. 5, 10 minutes.
Like, straight up.
I'm just gonna truck along this route right here.
Yeah, you're flying over the mountain in the middle. I'm going through it. I'll
There's
follow the
tornado
road.
to my right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's
Jeez,
three guys.
man.
There's three guys in here with me. Hello, how's it going? Don't mind me, please. I'm just passing through.
So
Howdy,
with that,
the Arby's is down the corner over there. I don't have anything.
with with the thing taking a step back, when it comes to, for me, Mash Mac,
Mhm.
gliders are cool. Being able to use different weapons is awesome. Just they need to be kind of balanced or in line with the system as a whole. I think I really like having the NPC AI. I kind of wish that they would roam around sometimes to kind of make it feel a little bit more lively rather than I'm always going somewhere and they're spawning out these doors nonstop.
Yep.
I think there's different bosses that will spawn, but I don't think I saw the Chrysalis boss spawn, but I know I saw like out in the crater area, like one of those bosses. I think I've fought the boss maybe 2 or 3 times during the beta. Really fun stuff. Super cool. I Part of me kind of wish there was a way to communicate with other teams, but I know it defeats the purpose of it being extraction. Simply because I would love, in a perfect world, say if you're doing a Mash Mac event and there's like
Mhm.
3 of these bosses drop in, like what if you want to actually just like, all right, I'm not going to target them. We can make a temporary alliance or something. Like
Well,
Yeah.
there's the solo mode.
give me that sort of freedom, well, yeah,
So
we'll get there with the solo mode. That's a whole nother thing. But just give us that sort of freedom when we're playing with groups.
Like some kind of
Or
emote to be like, not hostile or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
So I was
something.
gonna say you made a good point with that too, because I know Synduality does something like that as well on
Mm,
the spot
mm,
alliances, but they
does.
don't allow you to pre-make
mm,
groups. So
mm.
that would be
You
kind of
can
neat.
Yeah.
ally through the fight, and then once the fight's over, the alliance just
Correct.
dissolves, and
Could
you're
be
back
like
to. That'd be
Yeah.
good
the
because I mean, I will say that one boss we fought, like we couldn't even fight the boss because we were fighting other people the whole time.
Yeah.
Yep. I
Also,
was
too,
gonna
there could be
interject.
equivalent with Tarkov Wiggle,
Oh,
not the cheating one, but the what it used to
yeah.
be back in the day, where you would wiggle and be like friendly.
Yeah. 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 Well, I mean, that kind of goes back to like actually just I don't know. They'd have to figure out some type of system for that because that's
yeah. That's a
basically with
pipe
all
dream.
extraction shooters guaranteed. It's pretty much dang near shoot on sight,
Yep.
right? So there's
Yep.
that they'll have to contend to. But what I wanted to add was the AI idea. Like I'm not sure what the lore is behind Mashback other than it was a former nation that kind of pretty much kicked the bucket, right? So it's now infected with all these cordite infested, strikers, right? So realistically, if you're looking at it from an extraction shooter standpoint, I feel like they need to be a lot the AI themselves need to be a lot more proactive to kind of tie into them, beyond saying that they shouldn't just be churning out of a factory, out of a ship, like it's a printing press or something. So I would say like kind of improve the sort of emptiness that I feel like sometimes I see with Mashback. Like it's designed really well. It's beautiful. The dynamic tornadoes are a pain in the butt, but I feel like the AI themselves feel more like punching bags. They shoot back, but they're all in those spots. They're only in the point of interest there.
And like the
So you're
big
not really
enemies.
like. So you don't feel like you're, how do I say, worried about just the players. Like
Yeah.
you look at the AI, yeah, it's just an AI. Okay, no, like if anything, because it's so like whatever the lore it is, and I'm pretty sure that'll probably come in later to kind of fill in the blanks. I feel like if you're going into Mashmac, you should be worried about the AI as well as the players, and vice versa, because the AIs to give no hoots. I feel like they probably need to be a little bit stronger, more numerous, more pain in the butt, because then you're gonna get those exciting fights too. But, whether it's you play casually and you fight the AI, get the nice light shows going on. But I feel like, yeah, they definitely need to be somehow tweaked in a way where, kind of like how they have scavs in Tarkov, where they react to players' presence. They don't just stand there and just shoot, pop off rounds and stuff. They actually push you.
I'd like,
And
Well,
that'll take some time probably as well. But it's just, I didn't, when we ran it, I just didn't feel a whole lot. I was just like, okay, this feels kind of, rinse and repeat type of things.
Well, like a lot of it, because I get what you're saying now, and I also where Vince is saying like they roam, because there were spots where we're flying through and there's nothing.
Yep.
Like we weren't concerned about it. We're like, okay, we just got to get there. Especially, I remember what was it, the last match we did, where we were just running trying to get to the point because the team had took the B point.
Yep.
And we were running to get to another point, and we didn't fight anything in between them taking the B point and us getting to C. And then even getting to C, there was nothing there. So I get, and you brought up Sin Duality, and I'm like, there are parts when playing Sin Duality, there's enemies scattered throughout the area. You don't have to engage them, but you hardly will have a point in a match where you don't encounter something going somewhere else. Like they'll chase you or whatever, and I'm like, that I get that, where it's like, I kind of know where the drones or the enemies come from, but they should spread out. Like once they spawn, they should you head in this direction or whatever like that. So there's always some kind of engagement. There's not a lot of dead time in between.
You cut out.
I think you're cutting out there,
but
Ross.
time.
Sorry.
you cut out for
What? No, don't say that. What did I? No.
Well, yeah, for the bigger enemies too, I'd like to see them roam. Like,
yeah,
especially like the frigates, that would be really cool. When the boss that has the big claws, the Constantine, I think is what it is. When you go into the second mode, then it's moving around. I'd like to see the bigger enemies actually move and maybe roam the map a little bit. That'd be really cool. Just because it just being a static thing there, you're like, okay, well, I'll just go hide and come back. Okay, cool. Now I've repaired. It actually kind of hunting you down slowly would kind of be a little menacing, and that would be kind of cool as well. But,
so when you said that, I was like, it'd be really interesting if so the longer you were there in the map, there was a massive fleet that set up, even with the storms happening, that went across the map, just taking people out.
well, the Constantine, when it goes into the second phase, it moves around quite a bit. It goes a little crazy. So I mean, they've already
and that kind of ties into what I was saying earlier. Like,
yeah.
I don't like, unless we're actually fighting like a named enemy, what is it, like a high tier guard or whatever that actually has a special icon. It's just
kind of
a punching bag. Yeah.
So too, one other thing for like gameplay and stuff, I kind of want to go to. We talked about the maps and stuff.
Correct.
Just more so too about just the gameplay feel of the mechs. Again, we said which one's our favorite. And also back to more of the competitive mode things. What do we think of the balance there, and what would you want to be your like number one thing nerfed and or I guess buffed as well? And then we'll kind of talk about cosmetics and stuff like that, and then get monetization.
I feel like we could probably spend hours on talking about each individual mech. So I'm gonna try to do very, very quick and broad in my opinion. So everything encompassing mechs or strikers, the only thing I was disappointed in was having that we had to basically grind for Inferno in this playtest. I don't think that was very beneficial. I mean, it was beneficial to see how people would actually grind when the game come out, but I think Inferno needs more testing because in some cases Inferno is rather strong, or in cases if it's Inferno is rather weak, that needs to also be tested and rebalanced as proper needed. Falcon, I think, got the glow up that it deserved with the spiral dive down and the barrel rolls. Like phenomenal. I love it. I'm jealous that Sky Raider can't do the exact same thing, even though our movesets are different. But I think Falcon was in a very cool place, very popular. I absolutely love it. Panaka, I felt as if I didn't see Panaka as much, but I really think there's some suits that were just like really fun. All the suits I played felt great. This is because I'm very easy to please. I'm like, yo, this suit is really cool. This is like, oh, I'm playing a giant mech. Like, how can I not have fun? Like, I have to basically psych myself out to not have fun playing a giant striker, right? Like that's just how I'm wired sometimes. Of course, like Alshi said earlier, I'm biased towards Hurricane and Inferno. It is weird because I didn't really anticipate me liking more the slower, tanky, beefier bipeds. Why? Because I don't know. I just tried it because I think everyone was trying to play Falcon, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll play this. I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. Oh, I got a shield. Oh, I got another shield. Oh, I can keep people alive, or oh, I can peel, or I can be the distraction my team needs. I think as long as all the suits can operate and do a particular role well, they're good. But I do have concerns that there's some suits that are definitely stronger than others. And I'm going to make a lot of people mad, very biased, but I find it somewhat annoying when ultra heavy defender cannot defend against an ultra heavy attacker. I know that kind of defeats the purpose of it. I was like, man, I wish ultra heavy defenders had like a special parry, or they had a parry window to kind of break out attacks that you normally can't parry or something like that. But I mean, everyone needs a weakness, everyone needs a strength. So do with that what you will. But again, that's just a random idea. Doesn't have to be final or anything like that. But things come to my TED talk.
I can't think of anything personally, unfortunately, just because I don't think I have enough playtime. But do feel like what Vion said, I think for certain roles, certain strikers have, I think they need to. I would almost say they, depending on if they're already doing this already, I feel like they probably need to be paired against, like, say, just kind of like how we have in some cases with GBO2. Like right now, we have the refined Dom kind of being the almost counter to the Denon Zon in a sense. I feel like certain suits or certain strikers, sorry, need to kind of have some sort of like complementary like balancing factor against each other. So like an ultra heavy attacker versus an ultra heavy defender, it's going to be down to the player itself, not just the kit per se, to kind of tie into that sort of competitive edge, but also have something for the casual people to kind of pick up on as well. But it's hard to say exactly what one striker needs or doesn't need.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the two that I played the most, of course, is Stego and Tricera. I like the Falcon. I love what they did with the Falcon. I think it's great. Then the personally though, funny enough, the one that I think needs a nerf in some way though is the Stego. Bias aside, even with the bias, I still think it needs a nerf, because either they need to hit the damage in some way, or they need to hit its just, I think, base health is one of the things that needs to
or
be
maybe
reduced.
the tankiness. I know it had some high resistances from when I was kind of looking at numbers, but
yeah, it's just, I mean, even melee, like it's I think its weakest thing is melee, and even then, like a panther trying to kill it takes like, was it like 4 or 5 like full javelin hits that I think does like, is it 42k or something if you hit somebody with it? And with the
yeah,
reduction
because I think the
and
HP
everything.
pools are similar to the Tricera as well. They're very similar HP wise, if I recall. Don't quote me on that, but
Well, you have way more HP. It's just the effective health of the Tricera can be more because you have repairs and you have your shield,
right.
and then you have your whatever the armor they call your
The
energy
little
shield.
shield thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just going
Fluid
off of
armor.
just the raw HP alone, yeah.
So overall, yeah, the Tricera 2 could probably get a little balancing. I don't think it's that crazy, personally. Now that might be my bias coming in on that one for sure.
Well, Tricera is only all ammo anyways, because like you just dump ammo for days, but it's just like it's sustained damage, kind of like how Bastion is for Overwatch. It's like it doesn't hit hard, but it does a considerable amount of damage over time if you leave it alone.
Yeah. And then it was just the tank, I think, is what a lot of people's complaint is, because a couple of tricks you
Mm.
can do, especially if you have a stego, that field that it generates. And also, by the way, just so I don't know if you guys know this too. I know I was going to mention this when you're stuck in the little rooms and stuff with the 3 ways in on Sinkhole. If you blow up those canisters of cordite, whatever it is,
I think it's
um,
Gordite, yeah.
you blow up those canisters, they'll put out a field that will uh, heal your fluid armor and also give you pretty much infinite energy while you're sitting in there. So you can do some crazy different shenanigans with that. Like melee suits can sit in there and get free melees on somebody who just wants to try to get in there and brawl with them. If you know
Yeah,
if you're the
I was
Welfin
doing
that's
that
gonna
in
win, then you can utilize that and a few different tricks like that, and then you won't get targeted as well.
Mizra has a spot like that too, over by the A spot.
Yeah.
That's what I was sitting over there when I was running anything. But yeah,
They
that's
removed that spot on the harbor. It was at
Oh yeah.
the first junction where you have to hold the point to get your payload to go.
Mhm.
The two side rooms had canisters in there. They removed them off of one side. The last
Oh,
test we did, they removed it because I used to use that room every single time I'd put the welcome box up and somebody get inside of it and I'd bust the canister.
um,
So
Yeah, I did it. Oh, I did it every single time. I was like, because nobody knew that's what it did.
yeah.
So I would sit there. Or there's what's the other map that does it? I mean, every map has a spot like that, or it has the crystals or something.
mhm.
But there's another one, it's Cape Blanc. When you start in the very middle, um, it's like depending on what side you come from, it's near the middle of the little crater on the left side. There's like a little row of crystals down there that you can
Yeah,
get
it's like a
in.
mhm.
Yeah, and
It,
stegos, triceras, anybody that can just hold a point down, you just get in there and start shooting, and it's just really nice. I don't suit wise though. Okay, this is maybe going to get in a little of the monetization. So not even that. I think that the prior test, and because you said like you didn't see like you or Vion, you didn't say you saw not a lot of Panakas this last test we did. I think it's because when they increased the amount of currency you needed to unlock the suits, and I think to me I was like that was an issue because
yes.
people playing
Yeah.
aren't going to get
Mhm.
to see some of these higher end suits. That's what like you didn't see a lot of Panakas, you didn't see a lot of Panthers, and if you did see those suits from people, it's like that person just played. They know life the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Can
and
I
I
say something real quick,
yeah,
Ross? Really quick. I think this open beta should have not played the way it did. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this game. I think the open beta should have been more like all the suits are available, play it, all the modes, whatever, everything's open. Give us the feedback on everything you can. And then they
yes,
should have had a
I agree.
follow-up test
Yeah.
that plays similar to launch. That's what I think.
yes. That's my suit wise. That's my like issue. That it gets back to like when you're picking a suit, and it's like that first set they gave you enough to pick what 2 or 3 suits, but if those suits got picked, you're defaulted to Eliseness. And a lot of people didn't. I'm not saying they didn't. Well, I'm gonna say it. They didn't want to default to Eliseness. They wanted to play that first suit they unlocked or that second suit they unlocked. So
Mhm.
like everyone's gonna have, unfortunately, a pocket Eliseness, but they may not want that. You may want to have the Falcon, or you may have because Panaka was what 98,000 this time, whereas like the last ones, it was like Panaka was like 9,800, and you were done. I remember like one of the ones we did we got every suit unlocked like within the first couple of like an hour or two. And I think, and again, this is probably going to lean into more of the monetization part of it. I think there should be a better way to get the suits unlocked so that you have options earlier on and then do like maybe upgrading the suits or something like that.
Mm.
But like just in this particular game, not in every mech game, but just in this particular one, I'm more I want the melee suits because they bypass your fluid armor.
That's really
Except for like Tricera, who the one match we played blocked every single attack I did, and I didn't understand why it did that. I'm like, this is not a person, because not a person is not parrying me
from
like
behind.
this every single time. There's no way it's not happening.
He's not
So-
even human.
So that's another thing. Sorry, real quick.
You're good.
Because we can talk about so many topics. Not even a person. I did want to bring that up. You reminded me of that a few seconds ago, Frost, too. Like the bots. What do we think about bots too?
They tone them down a little. Okay, I'm saying it. Those bots, that one match we played, that was insane.
I think it's just frustrating with bots when you have rating on the line. Casuals, I don't care as much, but rating on the line, and I feel like this bot is not like the other. Like I feel like, yeah, I jump into a match and I'm like, oh, everyone's bots. My team all over the place. Enemy bot team playing like a freaking team. And I was like,
it's Rainbow Six.
I was like,
Oh
God,
my
dang,
God.
bro. Yeah, I was like,
there's that one match me and you did, and I was like, they're moving like they are consistently talking to each other, and that should not be like the way they were moving. And it was it Cape Blanc Observatory? I think that's what. And I was like, there's no way a team this early in this open beta is playing like this. There's no way.
Well, I mean, that's why people will jump in and be like, they'll say, "What bot check?" They'll say stuff like
real.
that, and I'll be
that
like,
sinkhole match is also a prime example too.
Mm-hmm.
The one where we're losing so bad.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way that, because there's one point where I did something, they all turned to me, and then as soon as I was done, they turned over to you, and I was like, nah, nope.
Well, and then there's the instant execute, which is definitely not even like possible to really do it that fast. You definitely could tell that's a bot. The parry from behind with the Tricera.
Hold on.
That one does.
Hold on. If it's me playing, and they'll tell you if execute pops up, I'm pressing it.
No, I mean how fast.
No.
It's almost instant.
Like literally,
it's split second instant.
Yeah. Like it's literally the instant that you die, you are getting executed. It looks like nothing. There wasn't even a frame in between you dying and the execute starting. Like it's frame perfect every time.
I need all strikers to have one execution, if not more.
It's okay. They're just lag tapping.
They all need it. They all need it.
They all need it. Lag tapping.
It's like Modern Warfare 2 again, all over again. They're just lag tapping. It's fine.
Okay, and then before we get to the monetization thing, real quick, I guess because again, we'll have to do this again sometime to go more in post launch for sure. But cosmetics. What do we think about stuff like that? And the as far as what some people I've seen goon break
Goon break.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what you youngins talking about, but I'll say this: the cosmetics in this game for your pilot are super cool. They're phenomenal. The customization is really cool. Now, the cosmetics in terms of just in general or monetization cosmetics?
Just the cosmetics in general. Like for the Max one, I think the stuff that they showed looks cool, but I would have loved to actually see it in game from anybody.
Right.
Again, another problem with this test. I didn't see any of the alternate like lance weapons or anything like that they showed off. But
they were too hard to obtain.
Yeah, as far as the screenshot goes, they look kind of cool, and the fact that they're going to go with that route with fire and everything else, that sounds pretty cool. I'm all in.
I love the way that sounds. Like you should be able to brandish your weapons or have cool stickers and stuff. The one thing I did like with the cosmetics is like there's a cosmetic where you can put your badge on your striker that changes with your rank. That's cool. You have the lance and the alternate lance. I kind of wish though they leaned more into the cosmetic value or the cosmetic unlock for like, so let's say Elyseness. All right, so you have this super cool looking weapon. Why don't I have like a a step in between that. Like a one, I could just throw a couple of bucks, or I can grind or unlock playing the game. Like I feel as if there's more room for cosmetics, but based off what we've seen with their cosmetics, like Panther and Elysianus, Flame, Spear, and Halberd or whatever, they're going ham with the like they're gorgeous. The downside of having like super gorgeous cosmetics is a lot of times it's like, okay, we're gonna have just your base cosmetic or not, because part of the game is you can customize your own striker, which the paint cosmetics, I like the paint colors. I just find it sometimes tedious when I'm gonna find a specific color, but that's also part of like that gotcha challenge slash, oh, what am I gonna get? What am I gonna get?
Yeah.
I still hate unlocking every single paint for each striker.
That
Yeah, I
I don't
not
like
being
that.
able to use.
that's redundant. I think they should revisit that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, once you use
I am
one,
tossing a table for that. But I was gonna say, to kind of add on to what you're talking about, Vion, like I think the pilot cosmetics are pretty cool. Like I have nothing against that, or even the strikers. Like that's, I think they're going free to play if I'm not mistaken, right? For this, I couldn't find anything
I
that
don't
suggested.
know. I've
I don't
had
know
like
either, as far
I-
as I know. Maybe.
I've had
Right.
discussions with people that I'm like, I feel like they just me. I'm like, I feel like they should launch this at like $20 and have all the strikers unlocked, or give people that option to like pay $20. You have all the suits currently in the game. Let me say it that way. All of them unlocked, and then you're just earning currency that could go toward cosmetics. Because I didn't like the Panther thing. I didn't remember seeing that. I completely forgot that happened. But I was like, what if they made it really easy to unlock all the suits, and then within those suits, like as you play them and do missions and get currency, you're unlocking like prettier versions of weapons or cooler versions of the same weapon. They don't do any more damage. We don't pay to
I think
win.
that was tied into Mashmac as well.
Yeah, we
right?
don't pay to win there, but like, just I'm looking at a picture of Elysianus right now, and what if you got the his Gauss cannon pistol on his right arm, like you have the default version, and then as you play and you get better, like rank up the suit itself, like each suit has like a leveling system, and as you rank it up, it gets little effects on it, or it gets a different color, or like how when you play Overwatch, or Overwatch does it, you get a different rank and your weapon's gold, or now it's like cosmic or whatever, like that.
Diamond plated.
Stuff like that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, even the paint stuff too. Like, I guess that's kind of more for like some of the paints. And again, that's mainly right now tied into Mashmac. I hope they go and bring some of that stuff out of Mashmac, and we'll get to that here in a second. Which I guess this is a good time to go ahead and segue to that. But like the battle scar paint, I think looks pretty cool. Like just seeing that, I got the green I wanted, like close to the green color I like.
There's definitely very
was,
talented people that on their staff for like the visual side of things for that type
Absolutely.
of stuff.
Yeah.
If they're watching it, y'all are geniuses and it's beautiful. Thank you.
We just saying, y'all can write these down. We love what we see. We just write them down.
Well, and
This is
again,
feedback, okay?
feedback.
We're not charging. We're not charging for this.
This is feedback. I know.
Well, yeah, and
Magnum
like
was
the
about to
whole
say-
thing. Yeah, I was about to say the whole thing has been. The funny thing, I was like, guys, well, I was gonna even mention, hey, what do you think is the biggest feedback? But I mean, literally, the whole thing so far has been essentially feedback. So like that's
Correct.
naturally just happened. But at the same time, too, I love the gameplay. It's great.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
liking the game. I'm loving the game so far. I put a ton of hours into it. I'm loving it. But the thing
Yeah.
is, I'm afraid, and that's why this is feedback, that we're gonna get into some potential of like Gundam Evolution and
don't
problems. I have to bring it up now. Here we go. We're getting into the monetization. We're getting into it. So the big
Honestly,
thing is,
I still say this is what Gundam Evolution should have been, with the base of what we have. But I'll leave it at that.
I'm gonna not say anything.
but like, I just don't want to see it disappear. Right? I don't want to see the disappear
absolutely.
part. So again, that's especially this section right here. So I'll go ahead and try to make this as quick as possible for everybody listening.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The blue currency that you can get to unlock all the suits is 5,600 a week based on what we saw. And this is all based on what they just showed us. And assuming this is how it's going to be on live for the monetization stuff, that the cordite, the yellow currency, is the real money currency, and the merit points is whatever merit points is, and
Mhm.
you know what we saw for the merit point shop. So then the next thing is the only way is to get blue currency. You have 5,600 a week from weeklies. There's 4,000 or no 3,600 from the missions that you can get per week, and then 2,000 from doing Mashmac per week. Then you have the battle pass. Every time you level up, that's 400 and then 800 for the purple box, I believe, or is it eight? No, it's 800 and then 1,600 for the purple box. That's right. And then you have the level up achievements that will also give you these boxes to then open to then get another like 1,600. So based on those three things, that's the only ways right now that you can do that. And just looking at the Stego, that's roughly around 30K, and that would take you 6 weeks to unlock just with the weekly stuff. Then we have the battle pass itself, and then through just now these numbers right here is how many weeks it would take to unlock all the suits we currently have. So with the battle pass and about getting halfway through the achievements, because the achievements get pretty hard. I actually wanted to
Mhm.
message some people to see how far they got, especially the people that were like closer to the top of the leaderboards that I was playing with there early on that just definitely no life the game and had like most of the Mash Max stuff when I talked to them. Um, I'm curious to see what achievement level they got to because that's definitely no lifing at status. But assuming an average player can get about halfway through it, you're looking at somewhere between 10 and 13 weeks, plus for the achievement levels, about 10 ish weeks, I would say, to get to halfway at that point, because you would still have to wait the actual 10 to 13. So around 20 to 25 weeks, depending on someone's skill level, to actually unlock all of the suits and with those methods. And that's assuming we don't get anything extra. But I think it's safe to assume that we don't get anything extra because that's essentially what we need to give them feedback here for. And then that's not even including the Mashmac mode, which I'll get to that just in 1 second. But so 20 to 25 weeks total to unlock every suit. If just saying that, that doesn't sound too crazy until you actually think of how many months that is before you have all the suits. And especially if they add more and they're higher prices, then how are we going to deal with getting stuff? Because then you have the 6,000 points a week that you can get from the merit points. And what they showed is that would take 3 weeks at least to unlock the Inferno. And whether it's the Inferno or something new in there, and then what kind of frequency is that going to be? Is it going to be more when they come out with the next one so that you can't just unlock it because you've been playing Mashmac? And then also, if Mashmac's the only way to get merit points, and that's the only way to get the new suit till they, and again, this is speculation. This is probably wishful thinking too in some cases, which this is again why this is feedback. Um, if they actually put that into the game and it's a higher cost, so even higher and more expensive than the Panther, have you saved up enough blue currency over the weeks? Well, if you're upgrading your stuff for Mashmag to even try to compete, and this is where kind of the pay to win part comes in, um, Mashmag stuff and what I just added up for upgrading all of the weapons to what I thought was level 5. Turns out they go to level 6. But what I thought would be linear 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Well, I was wrong. And even with that calculation, plus the same math scenario 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 for the glider stuff, or maybe it's 4, 6, 8, whatever it was, that came to 70 weeks to unlock all of that. I was completely wrong. This is much worse. This is like year plus, maybe multiple year territory. I've, I didn't really pull up all the math and I didn't want to go through that here. But the point is, it's just too ridiculous because it's actually for a glider 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, 32,000, 64,000. That is insane for just one glider.
Mhm.
Then you're looking for the weapons to level 6 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 to just upgrade one weapon. So either the same price or more than the Stego just to fully upgrade a weapon that's in Mashmag. And these weapons get insane. We're talking. I mean, we already talked about the sniper stuff, but I mean, you're talking 1 and 2 shotting players. Like that Luminate thing I was doing, I literally got 2 shot. So the question then comes out: can you actually farm Mashmag to get the merit points, because one thing Vion and I had, and it literally couldn't have been more perfect for what I was trying to figure out and test. We played one game where it was kind of whatever. We ended up dying, but it's because we had a guy that we couldn't figure out was a bot or just somebody who was just flying around doing whatever they were doing. And then we had the second game to where we literally got carried by a guy who had everything maxed out. He called down enough weapons for all three of us.
What?
Yeah, he called
Yeah,
down
it was
level
it was
6
wild. It was
autocannons
great.
for all three of us.
It
And
was
then I
awesome.
just was like, okay, well, forget my sword thing. I'm just gonna pick up these. So I infinitely boost around. It was like one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, killing everything. It was ridiculous.
It was great. It was really great. But at the same time, I'm going to jump in and say that shout outs to whoever that player is, if they're listening. My stance after after hearing this and the numbers, looking at it, playing it, day one, like your day one experience is going to be really fun, but your day 37 experience might not be as fun. And part of me kind of wishes that they didn't do the progression for the weapons the way they did. I know that sounds wrong, sounds bad even, but I kind of wish the weapons were just as is, and maybe you could put like attachments on weapons, like as bad as it sounds, like a Warzone Call of Duty kind of thing. Or
Yep.
I don't know, maybe one or two attachments, and then you could go into the match Michael. But when you upgrade it linear, when because the PlayStation version is supposed to come out later, right? The problem is by the time they come out, if assuming we're all on the same servers and stuff, they're going to have it rough in Mashmac. Unless they like forgo all that stuff, because upgrading, your gliders in each weapon individually, that's a lot of resources. Assuming you exfil and extract and get all that stuff, that's a lot of resources, dog. Like,
Yep.
I understand.
Well-
I understand having it as its own game mode, but it's asking for a lot.
Well, and then it tied
You're
to the merit
also
points, and then that being your unlock thing, we got like maybe 100 to 300 out of the one that we won. I got way more points. That was like that was like playing 10 games losing, if not more, from that, because of all the stuff and the parts. And if you come out with the parts that you can break down, you can hit your 6,000 pretty quick. But if you're not winning, then that's a slog. That's just rough.
Go ahead, Frost.
I was saying you're also not accounting for if they even raise the prices, because every test that there's been, the prices of suits have been different.
Yeah.
Because I
Yep.
have a
Mm.
screenshot of a Stego being 21, and then the most recent screenshot I have of Stego's unlock was 45,000.
Oh, it's
Huh.
45. There
So,
we go. Thank you.
well, no, I'm just saying there's like that's the assumption. Like they don't increase the prices, but what if they do?
Yeah.
Then you run into, and then any newer suits that are released, are they going to be up in that price range,
Probably more.
or are they going to be lower? Like that's really where it does become pay to win, because you look at the suits that are over 21,000, and you can buy those. All those suits you can buy with real money. And those are the suits that are the ones that, like, if someone has the suit that's Panther right now, based on what I'm looking at, that's Panther, Stego, Sky Raider, Aquila, Panaka are the ones that you can buy. And then you got to look at Inferno is in the battle pass, or that's what it was. We don't know if that's what it's going to be when the game releases, but Inferno's in the battle pass. Is that suit an instant unlock, or is that suit at the end of the battle pass you get it?
It looked like an instant unlock, so you would have to buy it and then you get it. So whatever that price is. And then also you said too, the ones you can buy with Cordite, well, they had a Cordite conversion over to the blue currency. So technically you can buy any of them. And then you can buy all the upgrades for the parts in Mashmac too, day one.
And the part extractor thing too, because
Yeah.
that was part of that battle pass.
Yeah.
So that's my, like, that's why for me I lean toward the, like, put it out for $20, like, or give people that option, because I know me, and yes, I play GBO every day, but I don't have the time to do 70 weeks to unlock everything. I don't have that time.
I wanted to add on top of what you guys are all saying too is, like, one of the things that I noticed while we were kind of going hard for the last 3 days. Like me and Vion, we played 3 days straight, long sessions, and that was taxing. One of the things I noticed is once you got to a certain point, to kind of add to what Magnum said about the achievements or the merits, is once I got to a certain point, it was just like I wasn't really getting any currency at all, like just regular blue currency at all from doing matches. You're not getting anything through casuals, and definitely not through custom matches. So like the problem stems at the root from like just playing the game normally once you get past to a certain point. So they have to look at. Go ahead, sorry.
I'm gonna say, and even when you like
Mhm.
your rank itself, the higher you get, the lower your pool is of people that you're playing.
Yeah. So they have to look at essentially match rewards. They're gonna have to look at the casual side too, because just like you said, you don't have time to play, and maybe you're not necessarily you probably don't care about ranked at all, and you want to just enjoy the game. Well, if you want to unlock stuff, you have to play ranked. So this is on the assumption that maybe nothing changes, or maybe they do change, but you have to look at like what am I getting for the time investment? Because you want for them to succeed, that you want people to play the game. You want them to play the modes too, whether they win or lose. You have to get something in place of that. Otherwise, if they don't address, I would say if they don't address that, and we're not getting any type of any currency in regards to say matchmack or anything, or it's like very minuscule, right? Very, very little, and they don't adjust that. I'm not going to be playing 70-hour weeks on this. That's absurd. And maybe like, yeah, sure, there might be a paid option for that, but like I don't know if I would even invest in something like that, because it's just the amount of work that would take, and then even then it's just the rewards don't really feel rewarding, I guess. I think my words are a little, I'm struggling a little bit with
Well,
that, but it's just like,
exactly though. Like I got to a point to where I wasn't actually getting anything. The weeklies were the only thing that I could actually gain because my achievement level was taking. It's like, oh well, if I
oh,
continue just playing
you
the way I'm
actually reminded
playing.
me. Sorry, you actually reminded me. So when we started playing, we had the one weekly thing to unlock everything for your pilot, and that was like a separate cosmetic thing, which was really cool. You got to walk around and everything. But once that was over, that was it. That was literally it. So we didn't really even get a glimpse of if they were going to do like refreshing weeklies. He had a daily check-in on their Discord, but that was like a totally separate thing. I would say if anything, they need like a daily login or something on top of that.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
no, you're not wrong. Like you're not
Yeah.
wrong. That, and I didn't, as much as I don't want to bring it up like that. I'd said it to Viana a couple times, like with Gundam Evolution, that was the big issue with Gundam. It didn't respect your time. Like you
Yeah.
had to put
And
way
that's
more
the thing too.
time
It's like,
into it.
mhm.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I would say I definitely agree, because it's just like you have all these different things in play with with the systems, with like the monetization, the cosmetics and stuff. Um, when you have so much of that in place, it starts to outweigh the fun.
It becomes a job, and I don't
Hmm.
like once a game
Yep.
becomes a job, I stop playing.
Yeah.
Like I'm done. I already work a job. I want to come home
Yeah.
and relax. And
Absolutely.
that's as much as I loved Gundam Evolution, it to get some of the stuff, and one, sorry to say it, the game's not out anymore. If anyone from that team watches this, I'm really sorry. But like your first season, like their first season in that, the rewards did not feel good enough to get
Yeah.
any of that, like the battle pass and everything. But then you also had to buy the suit and the battle pass at the same time.
Yep.
Yep.
Like they
Yes.
overkilled their monetization. And right now with what it looks like, and like Magnum, you said, like I'm scared that's what's happening here, because you're looking at a battle pass, and then you're looking at these suits that it's like it is way faster if I just swipe the card to get it. But then you swipe the card, and what if like you get burned out in your experience in the first, what is it typically like, a game has a really good turnout for the first 2 to 3 weeks and then it drops.
So
We
drop
call
off
that the
period.
honeymoon phase.
Yeah, and like, so what happens, what does that look like for this drop off, if this is what we're seeing right now, or what we're looking at? That drop off and I'm also factoring. Sorry to say, people will take off work
Mhm.
to play. People will vacation days if they have them, but then they got to go back to work. It happens with every game,
Yep,
and that's
absolutely.
when your player base goes down.
And then
And you can't rely on the streamers to like keep that player base up.
And then, like with evolution, my line that I draw with these kinds of things too is, and also actually one thing you said, Frost, was if there was just a set amount that you buy it and you just get the suits, like give me, $60. I mean, at this point too, you not to go into the Nintendo thing, but hey, if it's an $80 thing on Steam and I just get all the suits that are going to come out for the rest of the time, there we go. I'll give me the
Bro, I'm
one-time
in.
purchase.
I'm
I'm
in.
in. Then if I'm feeling froggy, then I'll go ahead and get the cosmetic stuff or whatever, battle pass, things like that. Because the problem with Gundam is there wasn't even like too grindy. It was actually an infinite grind because the actual battle pass, you can only get one suit and there could be 3 suits a season, but for 1 season, you can only unlock 1 for free just for playing and grinding.
Yeah.
And at that point, okay, well, I picked the overpowered one. Okay, next season, that one got nerfed in the ground, and now the other one's good, but you can't get that one because there's a new suit. There's another 2 suits coming out. Better save, or well, not even save up. Better use your next battle pass for that.
I almost want
I
to
mean,
say this kind of stems from back the original root of the issue is the limited suits that we have at currently
that
with the beta.
pull.
Yeah.
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 Oh man, I really would like. Y'all gonna hear me. I'm gonna say this till the cows come home. If
This is-
y'all need time to make the game work,
Take the
yo,
time.
take the time you need, dog. I will be patient as hell. If you want to give me more strikers or if you want to get more content, I'll sit back. I mean, of course I'll be like, man, that sucks, but I will wait months
Look, they know
for.
from the Discord. We down to test it.
Mhm.
Look,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
day y'all
So
want?
Right.
Like,
here's a quick interjection. We have
All right.
13 right now, right? Technically
Okay.
12 because you had to unlock the 13. To throw a number out there because there's no right or wrong answer. What do you think we would need for Mecha Break to have to be a good launch number? Like,
I would be
I
great
know we're
with
at
20.
13.
I'd be great with
You know
20.
what's funny is
20,
I was
yeah.
actually thinking of the 20s as well.
Because it's 5
Yeah.
and
But you also-
6 and 6. So
Yep.
the
Mhm.
other thing I'm thinking though is you got to think of the types. Like you have to
Types
have
and
like
then
a balanced type.
development time
Yeah,
too.
you need
Yeah.
types
So that's why I was like,
of the strikers as well because right now healer wise we only have 2. Then we
mhm,
have the 2 super heavy defenders.
mhm.
We have the 2 melees and the 2 transformables, and then the other ones in between. We need multiples, not just
Yeah.
2 of each.
Yeah.
And either at the beginning, 2 of each need to be unlocked, and then the rest you unlock by playing.
Mm.
Or because I'm like you said earlier, like there people who are playing these open betas right now, you're not getting the full experience because all the suits are locked.
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas the a couple betas ago, like they were really easy to unlock, and we got to mess with everything.
Well,
Like the one that we the one that we all streamed, that one. Like we got to mess with everything.
Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if they gave us that old type striker that we got in the tutorial for Mash Mac. Hell, let me run in a cardboard box. I don't care. It's something different.
well,
So
I mean, that would have been a nice April Fool's joke to tangent on the side. But I mean, like, that's the thing. I would take something stupid like that. Why? Because it's something different. It's something that probably nobody would probably ever think about playing because it's so stupid. Or maybe give me a quad pedal striker. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
oh yeah, we talked about that. Oh man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's so much stuff they could do. There's so much stuff
Yes.
they could do.
Give me quad
Yeah,
legs,
bro,
but real quick too, as far as just on the sense of time things, as far as a feedback thing for this, I know I like the idea of the $60, 80, whatever the price. Give me a price for everything.
60.
But if
That
not
don't go
that,
And
up to
honestly,
80.
I think
yeah.
20.
But I mean,
20 to 40. It's
whatever to purchase
there
everything.
isn't enough yet. Yeah, there isn't enough to show to sort of justify me thinking that this is going to be at 80
Oh yeah, no,
when
I agree
we're
with
Well,
that.
not
no,
It's
quite
80,
definitely
there
not.
80
yet.
is because of
Or
the what
right,
happened.
right.
That's what it's
But
from.
we'll
Yeah.
say it's a $70 retail game, right? I don't think we're there yet.
No, I don't think we're there either.
If they
I
wanted
don't.
to do that.
I don't
So
either.
But like it's 20 now, and then like as they come out,
it
maybe
would
they
be
increase the price for
more
newer
reasonable
people getting in, kind of thing.
yeah, I would say it's more reasonable to be around 20 to 40, maybe even 30. But
I
I
was
mean,
I
gonna
would
that's
say
say
again,
probably the 30 range is
39.99.
probably
Yeah,
the
somewhere
best.
in
But
there.
yeah, 29.99 is probably the best range right now, given the content that's in.
And rewarding people for
yeah.
kind of actually getting in early, and then like if
So
as they
Yeah.
like an
come out
early
with more,
access or early adopter.
like
Yeah.
like
Early
like a
adopter. Don't say
year,
early access.
yeah. But
I
like
mean, yeah, I blame Steam for all that too. So there's that. But I mean, like that's the thing is, it's like it's hard for me to like really throw in monetization because it's just like I don't think it's ready yet too. And in that sense, and because of that, I want them to develop it some more because I want it to succeed.
and also
But
too,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
well, again too, like the other thing on the other side of it too, as far as just just buying it, right? They could increase the price later or whatever for people coming in later when they have more of a game. But at the same time, what could they do in the game that wouldn't hit their monetization if they are going to make Mash Mac pay to win? I think my answer to this is give us merit points outside of Mash Mac mode and give us pretty much a way to get everything that you can get in Mash Mac outside of it. That's my
I
big
think that
thing
ties into the
because
way that the structure, the reward system is
yeah,
done. Whether you're playing matches, whether it's ranked, casual, or even like custom rooms, kind of like how GBO has it set up. They have to look at like how many rounds you're playing, what you're getting in. Again, taking value in the player's time.
yeah,
Like, okay, player wants to play X amount, we got to reward them accordingly.
yeah. I think they have to move
Yeah.
it out of Mash Mac because if it gets too pay to win, you just go in and you just get completely blasted. Then
Yeah, nobody's gonna
No
play
one's
it.
gonna play.
yeah, and
I
then
went and Mash Mac and got
I
blasted.
mean, that stems to your solo run too. 6-hour queue, nobody's
Oh.
queuing up.
oh yeah, dude, I have a queue time where it was like what 1 hour 40 minutes or something. So
Mhm.
like then there's that too. So it has to be rewarding enough too. Eventually, I don't know if they want to increase it like GBO2 as you rank up, you get a little bit more or something. But like that would be cool. They need it, but they really need to move it out of that pay to win mode because if it feels bad to then grind to unlock stuff, and that has to be the grind mode to unlock stuff, that's going to be oof. And yeah, if it's too much time or if it's in Gundam Evolution's case
I mean,
impossible
like,
to unlock
obviously
everything.
don't make it super easy, but like, you also have to remember not everybody's gonna be a no lifer for this game too. So
Yeah.
it has to,
Mhm.
that's gonna be something that they have to kind of work out. I'm pretty sure they're already making talks about that already. It's, I would say it's very reasonable to think that they, they're not gonna go just totally not listen to this, but at the same time, like, they really have to kind of keep that in mind when they do decide on the systems in place once the game launches,
So
Oh,
because that'll
and I
be
will
very important going forward.
I will say too, the other thing, I know me and Vion have talked about this a lot, that if any part of feedback you hear from me on this, this is the one I really hope you hear. If you are watching this, still love the game, guys. The release of content for this, like information going out to players, they need to like not I'm not gonna say get more consistent. It's too far between info drops that we're hearing something. And with everything going on right now, like this, we're just saying gaming wise, everything going on right now, I don't want this to get lost in a shuffle of like, oh, this is GTA is coming out, oh, Mecha Break's coming out. You're already behind like everything else that's happening. There are
About
games that
2
got announced.
years.
I didn't even know like we're being talked about. They're like, oh, this game came out. And I was like, huh? Schedule One is a good example. I found out about Schedule One days after, and I'm like, I didn't even heard about this.
It just came out.
Yeah, it just came
there.
out.
Yep.
And I don't want Mecha Break to be like, I really hope that they're like, just, it don't have to be big things. It'd be like, hey, this week we're talking about this suit, deep dive this suit, or deep dive this map, or,
that would be cool.
here's a teaser of something that we have planned, like they did with walking around the hangar. Like, it just needs to be more consistent so that we don't not we, but like just the general public doesn't forget that this is coming out.
Right. No, I, you know what? I can echo that in the sense where I feel like, sometimes they just don't have news to share, but at the same time, you have to be very careful, and that's up to that team if they're going about the execution of information drop and social media posts and stuff like that, because that's where it's important. And I really hope the game comes out when we have to worry about dividing our time, because now more than ever, only because life, price of things, all that stuff is like happening, and so we're basically like balancing time to play video games with screen time or movies and other media. So like it's very important that
kids,
we
if you have
have
them.
this, or kids, yeah, or
Yeah.
kids, family, like all that stuff. Like that's a big one. So fingers crossed, because I think the consensus here is Mecha Break is freaking awesome. I love it, and I just want it to be very successful. I need it to be that mecha action game that everyone's like, "Yo, have you played this yet?" Nah, man, pull up.
Yo,
Like,
have you
that's
heard of a
what
critically
I-
acclaimed
Ugh.
free-to-play game or paid to play game called Mecha Break? I had to choose my words carefully. I was like, oh, whoops, hold on.
If
Look,
you
and
haven't, I'll
you
tell you all about it.
I had to, with saying that, I had to be really careful with what I said because of the stuff. I had to be really careful of what I said.
You have to
Yeah,
tiptoe.
well, yeah, but no, that's. I mean, it's always just be constructive, and I think everyone here has done a great job being constructive and everything. But I'm gonna wrap up regarding my thoughts where you guys are talking about mass monetization and stuff. I just want, like, be generous. Like, the more generous you are to your players, the more likely they're going to invest more time and more, like, even money in your product, even if it's between $20 to $39. People come out. Yeah, or
No,
they'll
we
drop
ain't, we
something.
ain't got to talk about
We're not there.
collaborations
We're
yet.
not yet that. Not yet. Not yet. We have plenty of awesome other stuff, bro. We don't. It doesn't have to be Gundam, but we don't even need collaboration. We just
No, I said
need
just
that
for the hell of
essence.
it. Why not?
I mean,
They can give us
the
a color
game's good
scheme.
enough.
They don't
Never.
have to give us just color schemes.
Yeah.
I mean, the gameplay is good enough that a friend of mine who doesn't play actually really kind of has actually been playing it a lot when it was, and he was just like, "Dude, this is crazy. Have you seen this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do mecha stuff. This is your first mecha game playing. This is cool, right? try some more." But the funny thing is, they don't really do too much. But yeah, any other final monetization or feedback, monetization, any kind of feedback last things, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up.
I think that's about it. Honestly, I think most of my thoughts were already kind of spilled onto the table, except for
Well, that or we can
Snooze.
literally spend hours talking.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think
I was
we're
about to-
we're at a good point. Honestly.
Cool. Well, then in that case, guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing the podcast. We can go ahead
yeah,
and
of
do
course.
some shout outs. We'll go around, let everybody know what's got going on, what you got coming up, what you're doing, stuff like that. Alshi, you want to go first?
Sure. I stream twice a week. GBO2, as most of you guys already know. FPS stuff. Mostly all streams are going to be on Twitch. We do stuff on YouTube as far as like just creative videos as much as possible. We'll try to expand to some other things, but you'll probably be finding me various social platforms, Twitter as well. Same with, or X. Same name. Pretty sure Magnum will have all our credentials in the description below. So definitely check us all out. I think that's it.
Ross?
Well, if I stop being lazy, I got a whole bunch of videos I need to edit and put up. But yeah, mostly Gundam stuff. Still have some Mecha Break videos that I need to do, and then need to decide if I actually want to start like posting Monster Hunter or Still Hunter stuff. But I mean, most of it's on YouTube. We'll do Twitch every now and then. If we do Twitch, it's mostly collaborating with y'all. But I mean, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, mostly on YouTube, and then we'll see what happens with that.
Beyond?
Hi. Thanks for having me here, Magnum. It means a lot. But no, really, it's been awesome. It's been dope. You can catch me on the side of youtube.com/RedWolfVion, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever's the same. But I usually do all my stuff on YouTube. Sometimes I do some stuff on Twitch. But if you want to be with the cool kids and the latest information on my side of the pond, just check out the YouTube. Come through. Your boy has all sorts of mecha shenanigans, and community spotlights and community fun with people like Aoshi, Magnum, and Frost here, and other people. So come on through and say what's up, what's happening. And thank you.
Cool. And again, thanks again, guys, for coming on. I'm EG Magnum, and I'm gonna have hopefully more downtime in the hangar stuff going on as far as that goes. Maybe even more mecha break stuff. Possibly. To be determined as far as the timeline goes, but we'll definitely. Gustav said he was going to sit this one out, and maybe come back at some point with the episodic thing, me and Gustav, and do something. But yeah, that's to be determined in the future. Other than that, though, I stream on now YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I got that finally going on. Right now, currently doing Monster Hunter Wilds, Path of Exile 2, Path of Exile, waiting for Last Epoch coming up, and yeah, gonna have just more content hopefully coming soon. I do have things like Twitter, Instagram, everything's EG Magnum on those. Instagram hopefully won't be a meme. Same with TikTok, soon-ish trademark. But yeah, other than that though, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know about anything and everything that you thought of that what we said in the podcast. That'll be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.